This is day 936, Yoshua Yomi. If you like to sponsor Yoshua Yomi, please contact me directly. It would be greatly appreciated. Today we're doing Tov for Shlamin, your test till Chav Hey. Your test. In parts Merubah Oimed. In terms of the open space versus standing structure in the walls of Sukkah, Kilo Sukkah B'Shabbos. Sukkah is more lenient in Shabbos. Shabbos in Kol Mechitzos have a part to move by Shabbos if in the totality of the perimeter of the walls is more open space than standing structure. Uvlo Tzuras Pesachim without a Tzuras Pesach in those open spaces, but Lo Mechitzos the walls are negated. Much because I'm seeing Shin Sour base. We saw in Hilchos Shabbos. Violin and Sukkah in terms of Sukkah, Ava B'Sheish B'Hem Pesachim, even though there are openings. V'lo Tzuras Pesach without Tzuras Pesach. And as a result, there is more open space and standing structure, even though there is no Tzuras Pesach. Nevertheless, the Sukkah Kshera. That is Halach Moshe Sina. Bachelor Pesach. Amos Lord is the open is not more than 10 Amos. Okay, it's It's more than Amos because it's Pesach just like by Shabbos. It's Pesach where if through Tzuras Pesach it's mutar fil b'yasir it's permitted even if it's more than 10. The Mishnah Berurah says this is only if the standing structure has at least a shear of a significant place, that is a strip of 4 tvachim. Rambam animal gam to especially as me'eser, and Kedomer Parts as well known. Shabbos the Rambam holds if there's a gap of more than 10 amos is not fixable by Tzuras Pesach unless it is more standing structure than open space. Of a klar be'arazeh b'siman shin sarbeis chavtes explained it there. V'shol poskim chokim b'lam most poskim argue on the Rambam. The Mishnah Berurah says, nevertheless, you should be chayshish for the Rambam. Ayin sham. Iskima poskim. The poskim agreed the bezel shebesukah hutra paratz mumbal oimed zel bekoilo. This that which we allow you to have by sukkah more open space and standing structure. It's in the total perimeter. But in 2 of the walls. There must be parts in those 2 walls which are adjacent to each other. Mishnah Berurah says specifically if the appearances are more than 3 tvachim, are they an issue? Unless it's 3 tvachim, obviously we say love it, and as if it's closed up, and there is no halacha pirta in that space. There's a Rambam says this is only made a sukkah out of 4 walls. If you made a sukkah of 3 walls, the love doesn't work. So maybe chiddush, which I don't think we accept la'alacha. Back to the Arukh HaShulchan. Is not sure. Is the area which is being fixed, open space being fixed by Tzuras Pesach, is that considered omed for parts? Because busy Shabbos and Kilayim, it's an absolute total wall. Or perhaps because by Sukkah, it's not considered to be a mechitza by Shnei Tefillos in the first 2 walls. Like we wrote, it's not considered to be closed up. The Chain Nira Ikar. So that seems to be the primary perspective by Sukkah. That Tzuras Pesach doesn't count towards Omer Merubah parts, even though by Shabbos it does. By Sukkah it does not. Chaf. Even when the opening is allowed in the 2 walls which are adjacent to each other, even without Tzuras Pesach, you can't make the walls on 2 corners. Only on 1 corner. They shouldn't make it on the corner, but rather somewhere in the middle one. We should make state for close to LZ because the walls are connected to each other. Come on, she's bar. I can say, even though without walls, we don't say that it's we don't say that parts will is okay. Nevertheless, if you have a stick every 3 tvachim, even though there's a lot of airspace, much more parts than Ayman, it's okay. Love would have a kumakubar because love is like connected. But basically, he said you see Ches, which is Mishnah Berurah, which we just spoke about, that It doesn't. This love, although he rejected it back then in Yudches. He didn't bring it down Yudches. Yes, we saw it yesterday. Uh, uh, but there he said you need specifically a tef. He said for the third side. Okay, I see. He said you need for the third side, specifically a tefach. You can't have kana pachas mishloisha. That's obviously the halacha was stated that you need specifically tefach on the third side, or if it's on the middle wall, it needs four tefachim. So for that, love doesn't work. Okay, for to make that one tefach. So as he says, lo Rashi. It doesn't say that way from Rashi though. But that's not a contradiction. Become tefach or arba tvachim mechitza, the tefach or four tvachim, which we need, depending whether it's the third wall is on next to the other two or between the other two. But so that you need. They love it. And only in those that four tefach plank or that one tefach plank, love doesn't work. You have to that I need that tefach or four tefachim. But in other places in the sukkah, love it is effective. Mishabur argues because he's passing like Magavra, Kedarko Bakodesh. So he says when you have four walls, you can use pachas mi shalosh tvachim lavud. But when you only have three walls, then you can't use lavud anywhere in the three walls, which is a very big chumrah. Chav Aleph. Achshav nagul asos. Oh no, chav. Sorry, chav. Akshu chu pusarim shnei tfanos. Oh no, that's what we just said. Sorry. Chafal. Actually, no glasos mechitza shlemus. Now the minute is to make whole walls, not to take shortcuts. Kiena kol b'kim b'dim mechitzos. No, not everybody is conversant with the laws of the walls. Mishaen lo kedei circle arba mechitzos. Somebody doesn't have enough material to make four walls. Mutav sheyasu shlosh mechitzos shlemus. It's best to make three complete walls. You should have say shnayim shlemus. Then make two complete walls, mixer shleim mechitzos, and partial walls in the last two. The Shem Alo Yekadim, perhaps not going to be done properly. Gam Yisrael should be careful. Shel Mechitzos Smuchas LaSchach Mamish. The wall should be literally adjacent to the schach. Nabiyav Shel Asos Shlosh Mechitzos Shlemos. If you can't make three complete walls, Be'achreach LaSos Kriyadim Shizbar, you have to do according to the laws which you've explained. And this as well as how distant horizontally the schach can be from the mechitza, we shall see. Base. Klein is bar to sabesa below mechitzos animal sukkah. And below shlishis. So sabesa without walls only works on the third side of the sukkah. Koshken shenatz arba kundesim ba'oretz see a lamb. And certainly if you put four columns in the ground and put schach on them, the einzakum it's nothing. Elafilu knots arba kundesim swasagag. But even you put the four columns on the rim of a rooftop, and you can see the walls of the house when you're on the roof. Because the roof does not extend out, cantilever out over the walls on the side of the house. As opposed to our kapazin, whatever that is, shagag bolet, where the roof extends out. The incain ain't zerabusa. That would not be chiddush. That's not good. Elafil ain't bolet, even if it doesn't extend out. Yeshlo good asi mechitza. We should be able to say good asi mechitza that the wall of the house goes up to shamayim. Come locha b'sukkah mechitza shai de gudasi. But sukkah gudasi walls are not permitted. Because came midam be'emtza gag, and so you put them in the middle of the roof. The lo shak gudasi, where gudasi is not relevant. Shitza b'sulim, obviously the puzzle. Some say the Baals Farsa Gag and Chitzos Nikaros Amina Gurasik. Those who say that on the rim of the roof and the air walls which are recognizable below the roof, and you can say Gurasik, it's kosher. And this is a Machlikas in the Rishonim based on the versions of Gwan and Daftalet. It's the rice eating outside sukkah, so therefore you should be machmir and specifically require mechitzas nikaros to the person sitting on the roof not from the perspective of the person who's looking at the house from down below. It's interesting. Mishnah seems to be Mako. It says halacha is like the. No, he's Muslim Machmir. Regarding said, but he says regarding you don't have any else to sit. You should sit in this sukkah, which doesn't have mechitzas nikaros on the roof, and even though although you should not make a bracha. Chav Gimel. Isa Gemara the Gemara says here gabi mavi sheish lechi. If you put schach on a mavi which has a lechi, which has a pillar at the front of it, kshera. Pirush Rashi Rama Rosh the mavi and mefula shmeira. We're talking about a mavi which actually goes through and through. It doesn't have a back wall. Kaim lechi mishum mechitza, because we know lechi works as a form of a wall. And somebody who throws into a mavi, an alley which is open on both sides from yesh lechi, which does a lechi from Rosh Hashanah into there, chayav. He's liable. Actually, even 3 complete walls not good enough. You have to have a lechi on the 4th side. Nevertheless, can be the rice and that's how they lechi was just a Shabbos. Since through the lechi becomes just a for Shabbos, Shabbos until Sukkot on Shabbos of Sukkot. Gam a Sukkot share, the Sukkot is also share. The Mikol have definitely in Shabbos, since it's well in terms of Shabbos, mean had Torah, works of Shabbos in rice and that's a dummy on a Sukkot for that Shabbos is also a wall for the purpose of Sukkah. In Africa, the Sukkot Shtei Mechitzos have a Zu Keneged Zu, so therefore, even though by Sukkah, which is not Shabbos, you require where the 2 walls are opposite each other, the middle wall has to be at least 4 tvachim of solid plank, solid wall. I feel Shtei Mechitzos having can mean dalit, and even when the 2 walls are like a dalit, that they're adjacent to each other. So you need to have on the 3rd side a tefach, or even a little bit more. Now it's the Shabbos Shabbatot Sukkos and Shabbos of Sukkos. Yotzegam lechi mashu yotze, even with a slight lechi, which has no sheer lechi, has no sheer of width. But Tais goes to the kan Myra b'mobi sasa. Tais says about a alleyway which is blocked off. In other words, that does have 3 walls. That you're allowed to carry as a result of that lechi, even rabbanon. But if it goes straight through, also the also tilted away can't carry Shabbos. Lama hayin and sukkah, even though the rice of maybe shusara yachid, since it doesn't work with rabbanon, it doesn't work for sukkah either. V'kasha din kana sukkah ksher b'lav hachi. So if you're going to ask, well, sukkah's kosher anyway if it has 3 walls, right? With the lechi, without the lechi. So what's the chiddush? Okay, it's not true. It's about where, in that case, we made a schach. We put a schach by where the lechi is. We didn't go all the way across to the 3rd wall. It's a guy with sukkah and correct state for us a lechi. So in terms of sukkah, it's only 2 walls at a lechi. And because of the miko kosher b'Shabbos shabbatot chasukos. It's kosher for Shabbos within sukkos, because even though because these walls work in order to make a shusayochet for Shabbos, they work in order to constitute a sukkah. A very difficult sugya. I never had a full grasp on that sugya of Migo. Uvarish Rif Mashma, it says brackets, Rish Mashma, the Tamik share, it's always kosher, not just in Shabbos Sukkot, the Tamalav, Ayin Sham, and people are astounded, which only be kosher on the Shabbos of Sukkot. Chav Dalet. Oram Musham also says this here, Gabi Pasi Biros Kshera. Puts chach on top of Pasi Biros, it's kosher. The Pasi Biros, what are Pasi Biros? Same Arba Mechitza Shalama Amma. The 4 walls, each of which is an amma in the corners. An amma by an amma on all 4 corners are like that. Right? There's 2 corners, bottom corners, 2 top corners. So there's an amma on each side. They permitted this for pilgrims. Based Erevin, as is clarified in the 2nd paragraph of Erevin. Sham Sukkah. Therefore, even though normally a sukkah like this, which is basically on 4 columns, not kosher, if they made a sukkah, the possibility is it's kosher from the Shabbos within sukkahs. Because the Migo, the Mahani line of Shabbos says works for the purpose of Shabbos. Mahani, 9 million sukkah works for the purpose of sukkah. Even though they allow this for pilgrims, Otaisis Miflush Lo Matirin Am Mechitzas Daraisa Kmosh Kasavnu, and in according to Taisis, if the sukkah is open, then doesn't help that there's mechitzas deraisa for Shabbos. That's where it doesn't work even midrabanan. In other words, where rabbanan asur it and say you can't rely on it midaraisa. It's not a phrase either, but yeah, that's where rabbanan barred using it. But here rabbanan allowed the Olei Golim to use it. The Ramah writes as follows: you can't allow these type of situations unless it's a place where the lechi, the pillar, upasim, and the strips of wood, which you need by a chotzer material, the Shabbos will permit you to carry to the Shabbos. The Shach Migo, then it's well with the Migo Arkan Lashono. Neither Kavan also seems what he means, says Roshon, to build the lechi, aim at the Iraq Mavi Sasum, Kadasa. Lechi only works in Maisa when it's a closed Mavi on the other three sides, and like this says, pass aim at the Iraq Magum, shoot to pass Miros. And by passing also, we only matter to use passing for a sukkah in a place where passing Miros are actually permitted. Like Eretz Yisrael, a little Chutz like Eretz Yisrael, now Chutzlaretz, although more discusses perhaps it's mutter in Chutzlaretz for people who are going to yeshiva to learn. The Shmuel says now that we don't have other golim, there's a heter for Piasibiros where it is hard to find water. They're allowed to take the water from there for the bar mitzvah. But it's only Ushus Rabim and not a Chotzer. It's an interesting paradox. It's more, it should be more of a but no, they didn't allow Pasibiros in the Chotzer. Pasibiros only allowed in a Ushus Rabim, so the sukkah only works in Ushus Rabim. He's some Erevin. Brahma Perak Vav, Perak Shabbos, Avushi Shmita Gazu, Ayin Sham, Vush takes out this Ramah. Yeshua says the Chatchila, you should be machmir like the Ramah. And only where it works for Shabbos does it work. In fact, it actively works for Shabbos should be okay by Sukkah. Shas Leflak is going to rely on the first opinion that the Rabbah writes, and that even if it's not effective for Shabbos, it's still effective in practice for Shabbos. But since it's theoretically be effective, you would say it's okay for Sukkah. The bracket says here, the lechi, we're talking about lechis by the Mavi and the passing on the field. What's he telling us? It's obvious. Vodem Korme Varano, Bushitas Atoisus. Koshena Heta Batil to Loshach Migo. When I was going to Shitosis, that anytime counting is not permitted in practice as a result of these walls, you can't say Migo for Sukkah. Chafei, Odi Sabagomara. Also says Gomara, Sika Gabi Achsadra Shish Lepsimin. You put schach on a portico which has pillars, Ksheret's kosher. If it doesn't have pillars, psula. Be'esh Rashi Achi Berusha. What the Rashi says it means. Chol Chotzer who lifnei abatim, all yards in front of houses. V'abatim b'nei b'shloshet tzadei Chotzer. And the houses are built on three sides of the yard. V'osim achsadra lifnei abatim. They put a portico in front of the houses. B'chol meshcha Chotzer. Entirely like the Chotzer. V'ukiri b'lamachitzos. This is a roof without walls. V'rachim b'yesmar b'amas, more than 4 amos wide. Therefore, if you put a sukkah in your chutzner, but you use the top of the achsadra, top of the portico, put your schach down on that, that's a problem. Because more than 4 amos away from the wall, so you can't see Dofen Akuma. Ein mechitzas abayis also a sukkah. The kemosh l'chokim, that's where 4 amos, it's more than 4 amos away. We don't say that we have a bent wall, Moshe's Barb Sion Tafresh on base, which we'll see the parameters later on. Ach im yesh achsadra b'tzim, but the achsadra has b'tzimin dainu amudim pachas mishlosha b'katza kiri. It's got pillars. Every lesson we're talking at the edge of its wall, at the edge of its ceiling. But it was not towards the house, but towards the open space in the middle of the chutzner. It's like 3 walls. Because those are all considered to be love with each other. Love with them. And we don't hold like the people shows that love does not work by all the walls. It does. Even that which we said according to Magen Avraham, where you have two walls and a tafach love, it doesn't work. Unless when you have three walls, mahani, it does work. Although I'm not sure Magen Avraham would agree with that. And here the pillars on all three sides. Doesn't pillars psula, it's possible. Even though you could say theoretically that the thickness of the roof of the portico comes down and it's considered like a wall. We don't say this. That is only going to work for the area under the ceiling of the Achsadra, because the pitikra is made for that area under that roof. Not that it's going to now make that ceiling or the roof a wall for the outer space where now you want to have a sukkah. Okay, it brings down crippling in the brackets here. I in Magen Avraham going to use Zayin. Uliyah is like the Eno Kain. And the Magen Avraham says, Arukh HaShulchan disagrees.